Welcome to the Marvel Alliance podcast, where we cover anything and everything to do with the Marvel Universe. From the comics, TV, and movies, we'll go from Earth 616 to the Multiverse to the TVA in order to bring the Marvel Universe right to you. I'm the nerd with the mouth, David.
And I'm the man who podcasts too much. I'm Joe.
Alliance
Assemble.
Assemble. Volume 293, and as you guys can tell, Chris is not here. He came down with a little bit of a sore and missing voice.
Yeah.
Most likely allergies, but yes, so he is not here tonight. But Joe, thank you for coming and filling in for us.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah, for anyone who does not know you, kind of give them a little bit of a backstory on yourself.
Of course, yeah. No, my name's Joe. I am the host of A Walk Through the Multiverse, which is part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. On that show, I talk about literally everything that's not DC, Marvel, or Star Wars, and if I like it. And I can actually watch it. But no, I do that. Obviously, if you're watching the show, you can see all my nerd stuff behind me. I am a total geek. I like a lot of different things. Actually, last time I was on, I was actually talking with Travis Hyes about this a little bit ago. I think last time I was on Marvel Alliance was with Brent when we covered the Venom Let There Be Carnage episode. So that's how long ago it's been. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah. So I podcast a lot. I've got that show. I'm part of DC Alliance over on the other, show over here. But I also have another show, which is not part of this network, where I just podcast over there. It's called a Comic Book Rundown, and I've got a couple different shows over there. So I do a lot. I don't sleep, apparently. Or I sleep too much. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming in and filling in for Chris. Again, we have the Daredevil train running. We didn't want to stop. We do this for you, the listeners. So, he made the call. You stepped up for us. And we greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
All right. So before we get underway with the show, let's go ahead and get the network plugs out the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network with 6 shows covering the wide range of geek and nerddom. To see the full schedule, check out the show notes below and subscribe to the Geek Ultimate Alliance on Twitter or X at GUA Pod Network so you know when all the shows drop. We also have a Patreon, so if you'd like to throw a few shekels our way, then we've got 2 tiers. We've got our $1 tier, which is our tip jar, which is just a way to say that you think we're doing a good job. And then we've got our $5 tier for ad-free episodes, early access, and Patreon-exclusive shows. On our Patreon, we have We Can Watch This All Day, the Marvel Alliance MCU rewatch, including all 24 movies from the Infinity Saga. We have Tales from the House of X, rewatching the Fox movie lineups. And we have the Baxter Broadcast, which is the Fantastic Four film reviews. Guys over there at DC have the DC films through the years. I know you've posted a whole bunch of stuff. Me personally, I was a huge fan of you guys' take on or your take on One Piece live action, because it was great being able to have another nerd to talk about that.
Love it. And that's coming back early next year, I believe. So, because I think they just started filming season 3.
Yep.
So, looking forward to that.
Me too. So we want to thank our patrons. We could not do this without your support. And if you want to join us at Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/GUA network. If you can't join us, then please rate and review the podcast on your podcaster of choice, whether it be Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. And last but not least, we would like to thank our sponsor, Panel Bound Comics. They have so much to choose from. Panelbound Comics is an official sponsor of Marvel Alliance. They sell graphic novels, omnibus, collected editions at great discounts on everything in stock and pre-orders. You can earn rewards on every purchase that will earn you discounts that you can use on your next order. They ship to the U.S. and internationally in secure packaging to ensure your books arrive undamaged. I got a book from them recently, last couple of months, and it was packed immaculately, no scratches, no scuffs, or anything else. So yes, I can highly attest to that. So go to panelboundcomics.com, use the promo code MarvelGUA to get $2 off on every order, or MGUA sit to get 5% off when you order 4 or more books together. Use our referral link list in the show notes below so that they know you're a Marvel Alliance listener, and we will have a link to the store in the show description.
Yeah, Panel Bound's awesome. I ordered a bunch of the Tomb Raider Colossal collection off of them, so I got all 3 giant collections from them, and it's I think the volume 3 is coming out later this month, so looking forward to getting a new shipment of that just in a couple weeks.
Yep, I'm very much looking forward to the omnibus of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man really renewed my love into reading comics.
Yes. I've actually been trying to get the regular hardback of all the Ultimate Spider-Man. Well, really, the Ultimate Universe in general. The Ultimate Universe was just great. The OG Ultimate Universe. I have almost all of them, but Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, well, I have all of them in paperback already, but the Ultimate Spider-Man in hardback, I think anything after volume 8, good luck trying to find under like $50. Ugh, it's not great.
Yeah. So again, great stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We have Nico in the chat. Nico Bellic 85. Hey there, I'm a new fan. I've listened to a bunch of audio episodes today. Hey Nico, appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the episode and many more to come.
Check out all the shows on the network.
Yeah, we've got multiple shows. Whatever your fancy is nerddom, trust me, we have got some version of it covered. You will definitely enjoy everything here on the network. So let's go ahead and just dive right into our main topic. That's Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 5, The Grand Design. Overall, what were your just kind of overall thoughts on the show before we get down to the nitty-gritty?
Okay, so before the first season even started, I had to go back and rewatch all of the Defenders universe because I didn't finish it beforehand. Like, I think I'd gotten up to what was it? I think like season 2 of Jessica Jones, and then I just stopped. I don't remember why. Just stopped. So I rewatched all of it, and so rewatching all that was great. Season 1, loved it. Season 1 was wonderful. This season so far has been awesome. Really kind of sad that Punisher's not in it, but obviously we're getting the Punisher show. It's going to explain that, hopefully. But no, so far has been so heart-wrenching. Last week's episode was heart-wrenching the way it ended. And I was feeling bad for Fisk. I really was. I shouldn't be. The man is a complete a-hole, but like, I was feeling bad for him. This episode did not help that whatsoever. But yeah, it is. This episode was really good. I'm not gonna even hold back, even trying to pretend. This episode was really good.
Yeah, I agree. It had a lot of amazing spots. I will go on one mini rant in a second, but I will say, like, the overall parts of the show, it was good. It was slower. It does, we've been on this upswing of the action. This one pulls the action back quite a bit. It's a much slower thing. My only issue with this show, and if you've been listening to our season review so far, you will know that I am a fan of when Daredevil, quote unquote, throws them hands. We did not get any hands thrown in this episode, and that was the only thing I was like, I like the story build, I like the beats here, I see where you're going, but someone needs to catch hands.
Yeah.
And that is my only complaint. Is I'm like, come on, man, it's Daredevil. Someone's got to catch some hands at least one point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's completely fair, especially after last week's episode. And he could have easily gotten Bullseye. Dex could have gotten maybe a punch or two after the attitude that he was giving him, but especially after the name drop. But no, didn't do that.
Yeah, I was expecting to someone somewhere to get a beat down, or Fisk going crazy and turning and beating up one of his thugs just to let off some steam. No one really caught hands on this one, but other than that, yeah, it was a slower episode, but it was a good, I will call it a world and season building episode. I mean, we're really setting up for where we're going in the future with that.
Yeah, 100% agree.
All right, let's slow down. Let's get into the episode proper. This episode opens up with Vanessa being rushed into surgery after the events at Fogwell's gym. She still has that shard of crystal or glass stuck in the side of her head. Fisk remains at the hospital, visibly shaking, but is kept at a distance by the doctors who are working to stabilize her. And I felt bad for those poor little doctors trying to hold back this big menacing man.
Dude, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a big guy, and some people can try to hold me back, but Fisk is a little bit bigger, and that nurse was doing the best she can. Yeah. Now, I do got a question. If he had not whipped the belt around and broken the crystal, do you think it would have hit her?
I personally do not think it would have hit her. And again, this goes well into Chris's fact or fiction, that something that Kingpin Wilson Fisk did directly led to what happens to Vanessa. And yeah, had he not intervened, now granted, had she listened to him and not shown up, none of this would have happened. But yes, also the aim of that, he's a big guy. I think he could have taken that hit and just been fine.
But was he aiming? I thought he was aiming for Vanessa. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch that part again, but
it looked to me as if he was aiming for Fisk, but yes, he could have been aiming for Vanessa. Either way, I don't think that, even a hit with that, she gets a concussion or something else.
Right.
She's not walking away with a shard of this statue sticking in her head.
8 inches out, yeah.
Yeah. So while waiting for updates, Fisk quickly turns his attention to control and retaliation. When Pal arrives, Fisk makes it clear that Bullseye must be captured, but he insists that he be brought in alive. And funny thing about this is, as he's talking to Pal, and Pal's like, oh, it's fine, we've got him surrounded and things like that. I'm like, you guys know nowhere where these people are. You're scared right now and have no idea what to say to Fisk other than, yeah, we got this covered.
Yeah. I think, what do you say? I think we think we know where they're at. We think we got them covered. Like, I just finished listening to Mockingjay today, Hunger Games Mockingjay, and in that, President Snow thinks he's got Katniss Everdeen cornered in the building. He did not. So, spoiler alert for a 10-year-old book and 5-year-old movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Pal is like you said, he's scrambling. You're seeing your boss on the bedside of his dying wife. You're gonna say whatever you need to say to save your own ass.
Yeah. Okay, this is not the moment to look weak and ineffectual in front of this very, very angry man.
No.
As the surgery continues, doctors later describe Vanessa's condition as unstable but manageable, offering conscious optimism. Fisk stays by her side throughout, holding on to the expectations that she will recover. I think the surgeon even says, he doesn't know where the medical ends and the soul begins. Like, he's trying to be very existential and reassuring, knowing again that this is going to be touch and go.
Yeah.
But again, what do you say to this angry man? Do you say, hey, there's like a 5% chance that she's going to be saved? Because he's going to look at you and say, if you don't save her, that's your ass.
It's you're talking to the mayor of New York City, and it's like, hey, we can't save your wife. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
The mayor that we remember got off his other crimes due to a technicality with the blip and Agent Nadim. Like,
right.
It's stated that's the only reason he got out is no Agent Nadim, things that happened with the blip and the FBI. Like, he got off on a technicality. So this city knows he has a history of crime. Like, again, not really the man you want to be pissing off right now.
Nope.
Nope. After escaping Fogwell's, Bullseye's gravely injured. He attempts to hide in an industrial area. Daredevil finds him and catches up to him just as the anti-vigilante task force approaches. Despite their troubled past, Matt refuses to abandon him. He disarms Bullseye and forces him to move, guiding him through the underground tunnels in search of safety. And this was quite a scene, watching Daredevil like lift up and having to basically carry Bullseye throughout this episode.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised because I do know Daredevil from the show, from the comics. He's a hero. He will save people. So in my head, he's making sure Bullseye will get the justice that he deserves, which seems like is what he's doing. At the same time, though, he also knows that if he leaves Bullseye to Powell, to the anti-vigilante task force, Fisk is going to kill him. And he doesn't want that.
Yeah, he knows there's no clear way out. There's no justice to be served by him getting caught. So during the escape, Bullseye questions whether everything they do truly matters and frames Vanessa's condition and Foggy's death as part of the same balance, as if he could reward a bad action, Foggy's murder, with Vanessa's possible death. When he mentions Foggy directly, Matt reacts immediately, physically restraining him, throwing him against the wall, and warning him, do not say that name.
Why did you say that name? Yeah, you said the name of his best friend that you killed. Bad idea, dude.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
And it was so funny because yes, I did get some BVS moments from them. It's like, you don't get to say his name. What? I'm like, oh no, we're not going down this road, are we?
Nope. Well, they got close.
Yeah. So even so, Matt continues to help him, making it clear that saving him is tied to his own past actions, including the time he tried to kill Bullseye.
Which makes sense. Like, he's trying to get retribution for what he did.
Yeah.
And 100%, that actually falls in line with what Matt believes. Whereas Bullseye, he's thinking, oh, well, I did a bad thing, so I'm trying to fix that by doing a bad thing. No, Matt did a bad thing. He's trying to reconcile that by doing a good thing.
Yeah, that good old Catholic guilt. He's like, hey,
exactly.
I tried to kill you before, can't let you die now. Like, I have to absolve myself for my attempted murder, plus I can't let you be on the line for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, intercut with the present-day storylines are flashbacks to an earlier case handled by Matt and Foggy involving an inmate named Ray McCoy, the brother of an old childhood friend of Foggy's. The two discover that a key search warrant containing an incorrect address that could invalidate the entire case. This creates a moral conflict to allow a dangerous man who sells drugs and traffic arms to walk free, or ignore it and ensure that he is punished. And this really showed that, like, back in the day, Foggy was more of the quote-unquote soul of the team. He was the moral compass.
Yeah. I was actually, and I don't know if you guys had talked about it in previous episodes. I'm backlog on episodes. But I was kind of surprised to see that Foggy returned. I was really kind of happy, too. That was really, really awesome. But, you're right. Like, Foggy is the heart and soul. Matt may be, the blind lawyer and the gimmick for the most part. Foggy is what kept them together. Foggy was the one that he was the lawyer. He knew what he was doing. And going back and watching the old episodes of Daredevil, watching even, well, I was going to say in the first episode of Born Again, but he actually gets killed in the first season, so never mind. Yeah, so watching the old show, that is Foggy. He does the right thing. It's what he always did.
Yeah. So In this moment, Foggy ultimately chooses to act on principle, believing in second chances. He ends up giving Ray some money that he and Matt had been collecting to start their own law firm. So he takes this money, puts it in an envelope, gives it to Ray, and says, "This is for you to disappear, start over, knowing the risk." These moments directly influence what's going on with Matt in the present.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. I felt like they showed the money, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, makes sense, because they're gonna, that in the future they're gonna start their own business.
Yeah.
The case comes up and everything, all that, and like, why did they show that money? Okay, I see what you're doing there, show.
Yeah, when Ray said that, if he goes into prison, he will be killed. Like, all of this is just to get him in there. Then I knew at that point, I'm like, all right, Foggy's going to try and help him out some way.
Again, that's how Foggy is.
Yeah. The flashbacks also reveal early moments in Fisk's rise, including conversations about expanding operations, adapting to the new financial system. We even get a shout out to, the early startup of Bitcoin at this point.
Right. Also, Wes comes back. Again, another guy from old Daredevil. That was awesome to see as well.
Yeah, definitely giving those who have watched along the way a lot of moments to tie back to.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, these scenes connect to his first meeting with Vanessa at an art gallery, showing how they met and how the connection between them was always deeply personal. Now, I will say one thing about this. In all of his flashbacks of Vanessa, she is wearing white when traditionally she did not wear white up until the time when she caught the stray to the head. Other than that, she was normally in red or something like that.
Right, I always remember that too.
So to me, this was kind of his... Even though this is Wilson's flashbacks, this is kind of him envisioning her as the angel that he views her as, or this bright and shining part of him that he views her as, that she is always in white.
Okay.
So, while Daredevil transports Bullseye, he takes him to a church he used to attend, hoping to find temporary safety. The young seminarian at the church agrees to help. This is the same seminarian that we saw in the first episode who talked to Bullseye when he was asking where Sister Maggie is. So he agrees to help, but the situation quickly becomes complicated when the anti-vigilante task force arrives and begins to search the building. And they just straight up say, like, yeah, I don't care if this is holy ground. We got more men than you. And they bust through those doors.
Ugh. Look, I've talked about this covering The Boys. It's the parallels of the show and what is going on around the world is very interesting. Just saying. Just go with that.
No sanctuary cities here, and I'm sorry, but the Catholic Church has no power against the government right now. Is what this episode was saying.
Weird how that doesn't work out in real life.
Yeah, anyway. It's funny how shows written and directed a year, 2 years ago, just these things are there.
Weird, interesting. It's like they don't see it happening. Can't read the writing on the wall or anything.
Yep. So, faced with the risk of being caught, Matt briefly considers abandoning Bullseye. However, remembering Foggy's past actions, he changes his mind. Instead, Matt returns, picks Bullseye up, and flees with him before the task force finds him, choosing mercy over convenience. Now, yes, they did flee, but they also left a huge blood stain in the middle of the church.
I was also very shocked that Matt actually left. Like, he actually made that decision of, like, I can't save you. I have to go. Like, I was very shocked at that. But he did come back. And I as soon as he had the memory of finding Foggy in the building, in the hallway, after giving the money to Ray, it's like, all right, he knows what his moral compass is telling him. He's going to go back. And he does. He goes back and he gets Bullseye. He gets out of there. And you're right. When the task force comes in to the back room, finds all that blood, I definitely feel bad for that pastor.
Yeah,
he's gonna be in trouble.
And that's what I thought too when I looked down and I saw that blood and the seminarian is standing behind the anti-vigilante task force, and I'm thinking to myself, I go, Oh man, this is not going to be pretty for this guy
Yeah.
at all. So yeah, no, I felt super bad for him. Before we get into the crescendo of the episode, I'm gonna go ahead taking that our probably only ad break now. So listeners, we don't control the ads. Sometimes they can be at high volume, so we just kind of give you a warning before they come. So here's your first ad in 3, 2, 1. And we are back. So coming out of them escaping the church, like you said, Daredevil had fully left the building. He left Bullseye lying there in a pool of his own blood, bleeding out. He got out the building, almost down the street, when he was like, you know what? I got to go back. They're going to hurt him. So that was, again, going back to Foggy, everything that he had stood for, all the positivity, all the things that they talked about when they were coming up as young lawyers is all bleeding back into Matt and creating this moment where he's like, look, even though this person did wrong, we still have to do right by them.
Yep.
So at this point, Matt brings Bullseye to Karen, who is at their hideout, and she is visibly shocked. And when I say visibly shocked, she side-eyes that man like,
That
the hell you doing?
Face. Oh, yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah. So Matt asks her for help, but again, she's just in this shocked face that you brought this man to our hideout, our home. The hell?
The funny thing is, he probably already knew where it was. It's Bullseye. He's probably been following them everywhere they went, regardless. But
Oh yeah.
he doesn't care. If he wanted to, he could have killed them at any point in time.
Yeah.
He respects them.
If he was outside of Cherry's apartment in order to save Matt there, and he knows all this other things, then he had to have known where their hideout is.
Right.
Like, this wasn't some unknown information. He could have broken through the window. He could have taken them out at any point. He chose not to because he's on his quote-unquote redemption arc.
Yeah.
So, also, while this episode is going on, I'd be remiss if I talk about it. We are also intertwining with our B story of Daniel Blake and Buck Cashman going on a little bit of a road trip, as Daniel's kind of feeling a little bit guilty because he thinks, okay, the information that I'm saying is leaking out, and now, we're taking this road trip to Albany. And Buck is super quiet, and he's telling his story about his time in the British Secret Service and in the Army and how he's killed people before and all this other stuff. And you can just see Daniel's, is having this moment for the son of the guy who played Tony Soprano. He's thinking back to some Soprano episodes of, oh man, I'm getting driven upstate into the woods to be taken out.
What's really awesome is that Buck also, his backstory also kind of intertwines with Foggy's, because he was tasked to go take out Ray, but he didn't.
Yeah,
I think. He didn't at that time. So what happens here is he's taking him upstate to go maybe kill Danny. Not his name. What's his name? Shit. What's his name?
Daniel thinks he's about to get killed because they stop, because originally Buck says, hey, we're going for hot dogs, and then Daniel starts to realize we're not getting hot dogs, we're not driving to Albany for hot dogs. And then they stop off. Buck goes in, gets a shovel and an electrical saw,
which is hilarious.
And again, he is just sitting there like, "Oh God, this is it for me. Like he's gonna kill me."
So I was gonna ask, because obviously, at the end of it, he doesn't. He finds out that there's somebody in the trunk. Is that Ray in the trunk? Because I couldn't tell.
That was Christophe, the first mate from the Northern Star.
Okay.
So
that makes more sense.
they have him in there, and then that's when Buck says, "This is your time to pick your fate." And again, you still think Daniel's about to get it, and he goes, "Saw or shovel," and opens the trunk, and you see Christophe wrapped in plastic. So it's one of these. All right, this is your moment to step up and prove your loyalty to Mayor Fisk in this way. When the whole time, again, Daniel's thinking like, "Oh, I am a dead man."
Now the fact that he is. He has to know that BB is leaking all this stuff, especially after this episode, because he told her that Vanessa is in critical condition, and then within like an hour, the news reports is saying that she's in critical condition, and he's just like, BB, you totally screwed me. What are you doing? It's like he knew before. He had suspicions before. What are you doing, dude? Like, come on.
Yeah. Had it been me, I probably would have fed her some false information, because you already suspect her. You suspected her after the apartment thing. You suspected her when you two went out when you had dinner at your apartment. Mm-hmm. After that, like, you already suspect her. So I may have saying like, oh, she's in critical condition, it's touch and go. And then you can always come back and clean that up later, like, oh, she's starting to get better, so now she's stable. But he told her that, and an hour later it's on the news, and he's like, oh, damn it, BB, what did you do? And then the next thing you know, Buck is saying, let's go get hot dogs at Albany, and you're like, I am. It's like, I'm screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's great.
Yeah, so we cut back to Mayor Fisk and Vanessa, and after the surgery, the doctors inform Fisk that the procedure was successful, giving hope that Vanessa will recover. She finally regains consciousness, and the two share a quiet moment. Vanessa seems disoriented but calm, asking for pineapple juice before requesting that Fisk tells her the story of how they met, even though she remembers. And it's funny because he's like, why are you requesting pineapple? You don't like pineapple juice. You say it makes your lips tingle. And she's like, well, now I have a taste for it.
Yeah.
And, he asked her multiple times to tell her a story. And you could tell something's a little bit off with her at this point.
Yes. I mean, you'll talk about it here in a second, but the second time she asked, I'm like, oh no. I knew immediately what was going to happen.
Yep. So he tells the story again. We get some more flashbacks, the painting, the art gallery, everything else, and then the moment is short lived, because after a brief moment of silence, Vanessa again asks Fisk to tell her a story, and the mayor finds it strange. He tries to speak more, and her condition starts to worsen. You could tell her speech is slurring, her eyes are rolling, the monitors begin to malfunction, and Fisk immediately screams for the medical team.
Yeah.
At this point we know something about this did not go well.
Yeah.
In the final moments, doctors attempt to resuscitate and stabilize her while Fisk watches from the side, visibly shaking. The episode cuts out amid the chaos, leaving her fate that Vanessa may not survive this time.
Yeah, probably not, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So that's how we conclude the episode, and it's giving me a lot of vibes that, this is going to be the jumping off point that Mayor Fisk is going to go absolutely crazy.
Oh, yeah. 100%. If with her dying, it's going to be a nonstop vigilante takedown for him. Like, he's gonna tear down the city, looking for Bullseye, looking for Daredevil, anybody in a mask, and that's gonna be it for him.
Yeah,
that's all he's gonna do.
The war is going to be on. So, like we said earlier, this was a slower episode. A lot of exposition, a lot of building the world and building. Not only where people came from, but also giving you a look. If you had not seen the Netflix era, you kind of get more of a look into Foggy and Matt, on their coming up as lawyers. You get a retelling of how Wilson and Vanessa met. So you get all these pieces into play to show how much he really cares about her. So when he goes absolutely crazy on the town and starts going full on martial law, we understand why.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that, we know that Jessica Jones is returning this season. We saw from the trailers that she is going to have some interactions with the anti-vigilante task force. So I'm thinking that after this, Mayor Fish just declares a war state on the city. And this is when Daredevil has to bring in some help because things are just getting too crazy and out of control.
Yep, I can see that.
So, all right. So that was episode 5, the grand design. Again, I'm looking forward to episode 6 and the fallout of this and where we go, and to know definitively for sure the fate of Vanessa. I don't think she survived, but again, we don't know until we see her 6 feet under.
Right. Yeah, until we see the body, especially in comic books. Well, even then, when you see a body, it's not always gone, so.
Yeah. So, that there used to be the joke that no one stays dead other than Bucky and Uncle Ben, and both of which came back.
Well, yeah. And Jason Todd.
Yep. So
all 3 of them came back.
So you never know. I have a factor fiction about her coming back. So again, you never know with these people. All right. So that wraps up our recap of episode 5. Like I said, we are going to skip feedback and listener questions for this week. They will be paused until Chris returns next week. We do have a good question that we're just going to hold on to from our friend Anthony Dorsey. So don't think we forgot about it. We're just going to hold on to it next week. Same thing with Factor Fiction. Again, since this was such a last minute pinch hit, step in, not going to force our friend Joda to come up with 3 Factor Fictions in an hour.
I would have had to come up with something in an hour. I'm like, I don't know what if this happens? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll hold off on the Factor Fiction. We will go over the results and everything next week. Same thing with Comic Book Club. We will continue our read through of Age of Ultron. So, but other than that, that is your episode. Again, I want to shout out our sponsor, Panabound Comics. Again, if you go to our website, use our code MarvelGUA. Follow the podcast on X at Marvel A Podcasts. You can find me on Twitter at The Phantom and Chris as Chris Balga. Joe, tell the people where to find you.
Yeah, I'm on social media, Twitter, _actually_. You can also find my show, A Walk Through the Multiverse, at Walk the Verse on Twitter. Also, I'm on Instagram and all the other socials at Comic Book Rundown, or Comic Rundown on Twitter.
Awesome. So, and you guys can also catch me here on the GeekVerse Network as part of our wrestling show, The Gimmick. This is WrestleMania weekend, so I've already told everyone in my life that starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time until Sunday night at about 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, you do not know me. If it ain't about wrestling, I will be slow on the responses. I will be this is going to consume my whole life. But we are going to have 2 shows. We are going to talk about the fallout of AEW Dynasty and this past weekend's big happening on AEW Dynamite. But then we are going to review night 1 of WrestleMania and then come back the next night immediately following the show for a review of night 2 and a rundown of WrestleMania. So we've got a lot of things cooking when it comes to that. Again, this is our wrestling Super Bowl, so I am so excited about that.
Awesome.
Yep. So if you have any questions or anything, you can email the show at marvelalliancepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network on Twitter at GUAPod Network. Feel free to tweet or email if you want to provide feedback, ask questions that we'll answer on the show. Again, rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts or whichever platform that you're listening to. Thank you all for listening. And as Stan the Man would say, Excelsior, true believers. All right, post-credits discussion. There was there has been some news coming out of CinemaCon. I'm not going to touch on all the news.
Why not? Just kidding.
Some of which just happened in our. Basically, literally, this news came out. Chris and I texted about whether we would talk about it, and then 2 minutes later, he called me to say I can't talk. So
Yeah, that literally happened within seconds of each other. It was crazy.
So that there is some leaked trailer information, things like that. We're not going to talk about that because it's a leak. We haven't even seen it, so we're going to be just talking about someone else talking about something that they've seen. That's
Hopefully
a lot.
by next week you guys will have something more substantial. So
Yes. But something that did come out of CinemaCon is we got a look at some new shots from Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, if these shots don't look pretty.
Man, I've loved these movies ever since they came out. And I am seeing Miles and his dad there. It's just gonna make me sad. Yeah, this movie looks so awesome.
Yeah, and we see 3 or 4 different art styles here,
Yeah.
which again has me excited. We had that with Across the Spider-Verse with some changing with the art styles. This cool
Prowler.
neon on the Prowler. You get back to the more traditional art style with this moment with Miles and his dad. You get the more, matted look in this moment with him and Gwen. I love this
The
moment
punk.
with Spider-Punk saying, you're going to save your dad. And then we get a different look of, Miles's dad and his uncle as they are looking like they are in a younger time. These are some awesome looks. We get Miguel O'Hara here going after Spider-Man. I'm so excited about these steals and just getting to know that, all right, we're getting closer and closer to this coming.
Yeah, I am excited. Next year, 2027.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. As long as it stays on track, it will be next year, 2027. Now, again, with the Spider-Verse movies, there is always a chance that it could get delayed.
Right.
My thoughts, views, and opinions on that is if you are delaying it in order to do it right, I'm okay with that. I'd rather,
Agreed.
if you're going to ask me to pick a date and I say the date, to quote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I'd rather be happy than right.
Exactly.
So if you got to delay this a little bit past when I want, just in order to make it perfect, then you know what? Go ahead, because I'd rather sit in that movie theater, be absolutely happy with this, and yeah, that is, I'm super super excited for it.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's the first 2 were amazing. The first one was like came out of nowhere, blew expectations, everybody's expectations. Second one was just as good. This one looks amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, I will say that, I fell in love with Miles the character reading, again, the Ultimate line of comics when he was first introduced. But my kids who are fairly young, one is 9 and the other one turns 12 tomorrow, they grew up on the Spider-Verse movies, and it made them fall in love with Miles the character, but it also, this was pre-Black Panther and other things, this was the first time they saw themselves represented.
Oh, nice.
As a character. So that has always been a sticking point with me. Like, my kid saw Miles, he saw the hair that Miles has. That's the way my oldest kid's hair is. Like, he's followed throughout, and it's always been this is somebody that we can connect with. And so because of that, watching them grow up with these, I'm excited for the next round of these movies.
That's what I love about comics, man. This just is something for everybody.
Yes. So that being said, that is our show. Again, Joe, I thank you so much for filling in. I know this was kind of a quick show today with us skipping a lot of things, but again, I appreciate you just taking the time. Last minute call with an hour to go saying, hey, are you available? And yeah, it's Chris appreciates it. He hopes to be back next week.
Yep.
Again, he thinks it's just allergies, just took out his voice at the last minute. So he should be back to full strength so that we can continue our run through Daredevil and this season.
Yeah, thank you for letting me come on. Thank you for having me. Always a blast. So hopefully I'll come back on in the future.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, other than that, again, we appreciate everyone for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.